Hello, and welcome to the Apothecary. Not really. I was talking to a friend of mine who I hadn't seen for a while. He makes videos, and he'd been to an event in America, in Chicago actually. And because he hadn't made any videos, I was a bit concerned. So I got in touch with him and said, "You all right? Haven't seen any videos? You haven't given up anything or anything like that?" He said, "No, since I've been at the show, I've come down with something, and it's really affected me pretty badly." And he said, "I don't know whether it was at the show mixing with lots of different people or whether it was on the aeroplane." Now, I do get emails from people saying that travelling on aeroplanes can be quite dangerous, not from the flying point of view, but from the air they pump through. And people do come back not only with jet lag, but with something rather nasty as well, and it takes them a while to recover. And I said to him, just as a matter of interest, because I don't know quite what his diet is like, I said, "Do you eat well, and do you take any supplements to help you?" And he said, "Well, I generally eat okay, but I haven't taken any supplements for years." So I thought, well, I'll reel off some of the supplements that I take, and maybe some of those, if you can get some good quality ones, would help rebalance your body and get you back into basically into form and making the videos that I like to watch, really. So, and then I thought maybe it would be a good idea to run some of that by you. There may be people there who haven't seen some of my interviews with people who do supplements, Clive de Carle being one of them. And you might be interested in just what Julia and I take, just as a matter of course, and then you can compare it with what you take. You might not take anything. You may find that actually you take a different range. I'm not advocating that this is the only thing that you should, and I'm not telling anybody which ones to take or advising anyone to take any. I'm just sharing what we do. So before any of the haters out there start to write their snide comments about, "Oh, you're a grifter, you're doing this, you're doing that, and you don't know what you're talking about," you needn't bother, because I'm not an expert in this area. That's why I interview the experts, you see. You know what I mean? Right, so I should say right from the beginning, I'm not paid to say this, by the way. We use a lot of Clive de Carle's supplements. We know Clive. We've been at events with Clive. We were with him last week, funnily enough. And I know that he sources very high quality supplements and all the ingredients for the supplements, which he's blended and he sells. Now, they're not the most cheapest, and others are available. What he does recommend, and I would sort of go along with this, that the high street places that you buy these stuff are likely to be infiltrated with all sorts of fillers and chalk and whatever else, just to make them cheap and cheerful. So just be careful where you go and get them. And of course, anything that you're going to ingest and swallow and put in your mouth, always do your due diligence, do your own research. So I'm not persuading anybody to do anything. I'm just trying to sort of give you an idea. Because mostly Julia and I are quite fit, and we very rarely get ill. So firstly, I should say that we have a good diet. We go to farm shops, and I would definitely promote farm shops and farm food, particularly ones that actually have animals or are producing locally, are grass-fed if it's meat you're after, organic if you can get it, and so on and so forth. We don't go to supermarkets. That's the first most important thing I would say for health, is to avoid supermarkets, because the food that's in there is questionable. And these days it's more questionable than anything else. So, you may disagree with that. You may be forced to do that because you can't drive, you can't get out into the countryside, or you don't want to do a veg box scheme or anything like that. But farm foods, of course, is really the best that we can do, unless, of course, you're growing it yourself, have your own small holding, have a back garden, have plants. Then, of course, you're in charge. But most of us are not in charge of the food that we put into our mouths, and so you've got to do the best you can, because it makes a big difference. So, on to some of the stuff that we take. I'm going to start first of all with some which Julia takes, which comes from the goodfoodproject.co.uk. Very nice people. And I can't even begin to pronounce what this one is, Shatavari or something like that. And another one, Evening Primrose Oil, which are good for women's health. I'm just going to leave it there, because I'm not a woman, and women have various things, times of months and what have you. And they do a nice range. This is by a company called Fushi. Julia swears by it, says it's very good. So I'll leave that very basic. If you've been ill and you've taken antibiotics, what you have effectively done is taken away all the bacteria from your stomach. And as I understand it, the good bacteria goes with the bad bacteria, and you've basically got nothing in there, and it's all got to start up again. The antibiotics have stripped you out. So it may have got rid of the bug and what have you, but it's left you fairly vulnerable, and it will take time to recover. So what you need is some probiotics. Now, I don't take these every day. Once, if after recovering from something, and so Clive does a pure probiotics. Can't spend time telling you exactly what's in it, but again, a probiotics is that sort of thing that you take after you've been ill. Of course, vitamin D, very important. Some people have said, oh, but Richard, it contains rat poison. And it was pointed out to me that, yeah, rats are not humans. Rats have a different metabolism to humans. They're smaller, for one thing, and they have fur. And there may well be in the dosage that a human would take something that would disagree with a rat and cause it illness, but actually doesn't do that, is beneficial to us. We don't get enough sunlight because we know they're blocking the skies with their clouds, and so vitamin D, D3, is very essential on a daily basis, really. So I'd recommend looking at that, particularly if you live in the cold areas and through the winter. Or if you haven't seen the sun for a while. Vitamin D, very good for us. And I'm not going to go into the sort of scientific exactly what everyone does, but I'm just telling you these are the ones we take as and when we need them. Lugol's, I don't know if I've got that right, Lugol's iodine, that is something that the body needs and uses up very quickly. And it's a great disinfectant. In fact, down here, and I wanted to show you this, excuse me having to fiddle around because I forgot to put it out. This is I nearly called it a snoot pipe. It's a Himalayan salt pipe inhaler. And this is very good if you've got a cold or a blocked up nose, because you use this in conjunction with iodine. We use this quite frequently if we're feeling a bit congested. So this is you buy this, and I'll put a link in the description, but there are lots of different versions of it. This is a ceramic one, which is rather nice. It's not plastic, and it's filled with Himalayan pink salt, sea salt, Himalayan sea salt, and that's just the carrier. Now, Dr. Sarah Myhill put us onto this, and she knows a thing or two. And with iodine, which is a great antiseptic in some way, if I can open the thing, you place the iodine into the nozzle of the inhaler, just about 3 drops, something like that, and give it a shake and stick it up the nostrils like this. Do this a few times, and what it does, the iodine kills all the nasty bugs up the nasal capacity and protects it from getting infected, so you can basically obliterate the bug before it gets down into your lungs or any other parts of the body. We love that, and we find that very effective. Iodine is a miracle cure, really. You can obviously put it on your skin, put it over bee stings or wasp stings. Julia got stung when we were on a canal, and they were all in her hair and on her arms, and amazingly, iodine soon got rid of the sting and the antiseptic. And of course, in the old days, they used to, your mum, when I was small, would get this brown iodine on. It stung like hell, but it soon dealt with the thing. But you can ingest it. 3 drops in a glass of water is good purity for the system. So that's another one that we do. Vitamin B complex. This one is called, it's just called vitamin B complex methyl, which I'm not sure what that stands for, but don't let that worry. Vitamin B, of course, very important. B12 vitamin is energy production and cognitive brain function. So if you've got a bit of brain fog, then that's quite good. This one turns your pee orange, which is quite fun, what else have we got here? Zinc. Well, if you're eating good quality meat, good quality food, you should actually get enough zinc in it, but it's a mineral. So, and it's good to help the immune system. So again, if you're ill, that's a good one, and helps the metabolism. Like all these things, do your research, work out how much of it you need and when you need it, if you need it. You may not. Vitamin C, of course, you know, that's the number one go-to, isn't it, to keep us going. Vitamin C. We don't eat generally enough fruit and veg, and this is it's a synthetic one, ascorbic acid, but it still does the job and keeps you healthy. And again, the slightest bit of a cold, vitamin C, but don't take too much, because there's a point where the bowel gets to its maximum tolerance, and well, let's say you'll be spending a bit of time upstairs on the loo. But vitamin C, we all know really a lot about vitamin C, and we probably don't take enough of it, but it has amazing curative properties. Magnesium is something that the body, I can't remember now whether we struggle to produce this because of our bad foods, or whether we need it and therefore, but I think magnesium, again, it's another mineral. We don't get enough of it, and mostly we're in depletion of it, and so that's why this is a big pot of it. But again, very, very good. It's something the body craves and needs, and gives us energy and brightens our day and makes our life much more able to cope with all sorts of things. It's a good all-round balancer, I think, and but helps the body to recover from cuts and bruises and depression and those sort of things. So if your mood is low, magnesium is good. And the last one is methylene blue. Now, some people have taken a certain medical intervention in recent years that was foisted on people, and I'm told that methylene blue is very good at disrupting that, in the same way that nicotine is good as a disruptor for some of the negative effects of that particular medical intervention that people perhaps are now regretting having taken. It is also very good because it helps the brain, and there are other medical interventions that children are given at a very young age that causes certain issues, and I don't want to name them because we're on a platform that is very sensatorial, but methylene blue, very good for getting rid of heavy metals and things out of the blood, out of the brain, and that sort of thing, and dealing with EMFs as well. So that's it. That's the sort of one. Now, we don't take them all in one go. Oh, and selenium, which is another one. Actually, it's not here. Selenium, it's actually in the fridge. That goes very well with taking iodine, because it gets it into the cells. And of course, another mineral, a basic mineral that everybody should be taking, which we have in this little jar, honey jar it is, but it is of course Celtic sea salt, with a pinch of that with a glass of water, so that you get the water into the cells. Otherwise the water tries to get into the cell, and it does a little bit, but most of it is peed out. So if I've got any of that wrong, I apologise. I'm not an expert in this. We've found these incredibly helpful, and especially if you're feeling low, feeling down, and you need a bit of a pick-me-up, instead of going perhaps to the chemist and using any of those petrochemicals, maybe look towards supplements. Again, I'm not pushing them on you. This video is purely about what Julia and I take, and it may be useful, it may not. And so you can make your own mind up. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Take care. Bye for now.